Is this Hangout live? Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Okay, so what's up on the U-Box, guys? This is Top Hat Productions 115 coming at you with another video. This time, we're doing a review that I've been meaning to do for a couple weeks now. This, as the video title says, is my review of Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. And also is going to go into a little bit of what I think about what might be showing up in Captain America Civil War as well, but that's going to be a minor topic in this video. It's going to be pretty much about Batman v Superman, and I might not even do anything about Civil War coming up. So yeah, let's get on with it. First of all, I have Q&A plugin enabled, so if you want to ask questions, if you want to provide new insights, go on and feel free to. The Q&A is open. In fact, I'll even start doing a screen share right now so you can see that I have it enabled. The entire screen will be viewable in 3, 2, 1. It is now being presented to everyone. So currently there are 0 viewers, but yeah, just want to make sure you know. The questions will show up here. And let's see. Can I like minimize this so that I'm looking at, like, let's hide that. Sorry about that, guys. My microphone got muted for a second. Yeah, somewhat new controls here a little bit. Hold on. I'm trying to figure out a way to hide the screen share, but while I'm looking for it, I'll go on and it says hide from broadcast. Yeah, so I can't hide the screenception thing from the broadcast. So you're going to be stuck looking at this. Sorry about that. So what I'll do is simply move that out the way, and you'll be looking at this instead. So yeah. But from what I saw out of Man of Steel, it was, I guess, going to be okay. Zack Snyder film and all. So I thought it was going to be like maybe a darker look at, I guess, the beginnings of the Justice League. But and keep in mind, this part of the video is supposed to be no spoilers, so I'm not going to really reveal anything from the main movie itself until I get to the point where I'm going to do 2 halves of this video. I don't really know how much to say it, besides, if you like Man of Steel, you'll like Batman v Superman, and if you don't like Man of Steel, you're not exactly going to like Batman v Superman. It has a few hints to The Dark Knight Returns in it. It has other things in it as well. It makes references to other Justice League members because, hey, it's called Dawn of Justice. I mean, those are all givens because it's the start of the DC Cinematic Universe. Besides that, it's, I guess, a good popcorn flick. I mean, you can already tell I wasn't too thrilled by it. So I might as well get into the spoilers. I just said it. That's right. Spoiler alert, people. Run like heck if you haven't seen the movie yet. Even though, I mean, I'm betting at least half of you in the audience have already seen it. So if you haven't seen it, run. If you don't plan on seeing it, well, yeah, it's your decision to make, but spoilers up ahead. Don't stay here unless you've already seen the movie. With that said, I'm going to go into the main plot. Main plot starts out, if I remember correctly, with introducing, is it Batman or Superman? I'm not going to remember, but the fact of the matter is the plot is Lex Luthor playing Batman and Superman against each other. And if I remember correctly, during that part where they're being played against each other in the beginning of the film, there's this one part where Superman flat out kills someone. There are just some. The plot takes a few turns, so I'm just going to start from the beginning. Superman flat out kills someone while attempting to save Lois Lane. That's one that I'm a little bit irked out by. If I remember correctly, was that? I'm trying to remember. What's the name of that character? Jimmy? Who's Superman's sidekick? It wasn't. Yeah, Jimmy Olsen. I think Jimmy Olsen died in the film as well, so that kind of had a frowny on my face too. Jimmy Olsen, Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice. If I remember correctly. Well, there you go. Jimmy Olsen died in Batman v Superman as well because they wanted to play around with his character. So that's 2 points right there. Superman flat out kills someone in the beginning, and they flat out kill someone else who kind of is an important part of Superman's background, I guess. I mean, usually, if I remember correctly, Jimmy Olsen was supposed to be like a reporter or something like that in the original Superman. And he was kind of around for a while. So the fact that he won't be around in the DC Comics universe near the Daily Planet or anything is kind of like, I don't really know what to say besides that's a waste of a character, really. Kind of upsetting. And that's just in the beginning of the movie. That's like the first 15 to 20 minutes. So it already starts to sound a little bit of a dark tone. And we see later in that part, if I remember correctly, Batman taking out a few bad guys around the city of Gotham as well. Him maiming people. I mean, okay, so that, if anything, might have come from the original plot line. I'm not too good at remembering stuff, but yeah, so Batman's a little bit more violent in his old age. And there's a lot of people according to the DC movie that came out, Batman v Superman, there's like a ton of people that aren't too happy about this new, I guess, more violent Batman. So that's one of the other quote-unquote issues. And this is supposed to happen directly after Zack Snyder's Man of Steel, so yeah, it seems as though both of the hero characters are causing damage. You see where I'm going here? Both of the characters do a lot of killing and a lot of harm. So in this case, you can't really tell the difference between the two characters. That's one of my other gripes about the film. There was a notable star in there, the person who played Wonder Woman. The person who played Wonder Woman has some extremely good acting skills from what I've seen in the film. So IMDb will tell me exactly who it is. And if I remember correctly, it is Gal Gadot. Okay, so there we go. You know who it is. And Wonder Woman was portrayed pretty nicely in the film. I don't know if they gave away her origin yet. I don't think they did because, yeah. So that's going to lead to one of my other gripes. While she, as in the person who played Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot, did really well in the film, they didn't give away too much of her origin, so you don't know which version of Wonder Woman that you're getting either. So is it New 52 or is it original? You'll never know probably until they release something. And to be honest, this kind of felt like Avengers Age of Ultron in a way because the movie was just introducing way too much in too small of a time. I mean, you have Lex Luthor trying to play Batman and Superman against each other. You have Lex Luthor pushing the plot by turning General Zod's corpse into Doomsday. And then after that, you have Lex Luthor also, like, last time I checked, in the movie, he's like collecting information on these metahumans and superhumans. Like he collected information on Wonder Woman, the Flash, Cyborg, and a few other mainstays for the DC universe as well. So it seemed as though in this movie, Lex Luthor was pushing the whole entire plot. And then on top of that, we also had Batman, who was a little bit gullible as well because he wasn't even able to tell that he was being played, which is kind of disappointing. I mean, I was a bit underwhelmed by that. And then there was also the fact that they made his suit look like duct tape, but that's minor. That's nothing. What really got me was I'm going to say right now, it was the fight scene at the end. Now, we all know that when superheroes get introduced to the big screen, a lot of these heroes get nerfed, right? Their powers aren't nearly as much as what they usually are in the comics. And, well, I can definitely tell that Superman's been nerfed in this case. Compared to Man of Steel, he didn't do, I guess, quite as much damage, but still, it's like, you could tell he's, let's put it in this perspective. Batman should have been able to put up a good fight from what I've seen, especially like, I don't know how any of you are going to react to this, but if you'd seen the movie that they made, the movie adaptation for The Dark Knight Returns, now I'm not saying that that's definitive source material or anything, but I'm saying that Bruce Wayne, Batman, could have put up a better fight and shouldn't have been so reliant on kryptonite in that fight. If I remember correctly, in like The Dark Knight Returns, Batman in his suit is busy throwing a humongous wrecking ball at Superman during one of the scenes, and it's pretty much a matter of, okay, that suit is clearly strong enough to give Superman a hard time with or without the kryptonite, and the kryptonite's more so just a little bit of something to weaken Superman so that Batman has a chance to punch him. In this movie, the only reason why he's punching him is because of kryptonite. So it's like he needs kryptonite at all times in order for it to be a fair fight at all, while in the Dark Knight Returns adaptation, it's more so he just needs kryptonite to try to keep up. And that's kind of what irked me because they nerfed Batman like a crap ton. And then on top of that, Superman was also nerfed last time I checked because of the... Did he receive that nuke to the face yet? I'm not going to remember. But they took pieces of Dark Knight Returns plot. So the nuke thing did happen and all the other stuff did happen, but it wasn't nearly as satisfying. And Batman's suit just broke way too easily. There's not really much I want to say about it because it disappointed me. And then on top of that, you could barely tell the characters apart, really, because both of them seemed a little bit on the darker side of the spectrum. Like it was a dark and gloomy Superman who has like a ton of doubts going on and stuff like that. And then you have the Batman who's like willing to kill. And then Superman pretty much flat out kills someone at the beginning of the movie from what you see. I mean, he sends someone flying through a wall. So you can't even tell these two characters apart, really. And then on top of that, Superman allows himself to pretty much get bribed into this until the very last minute where he decides, you know what, go on and ask Batman for help. It almost makes me think that Batman and Superman were just too gullible in this film. And then, I mean, I don't really know if there is a different way they could have done it, but from what I've seen in past renditions of, I guess, the whole entire fight and everything, I don't really agree with how they rendered this thing. So I'm just going to go in and wrap up a few things about it. First of all, yeah, I'm not going to say that it was better or worse than Man of Steel. I'm going to go in and say it was around the same level as Man of Steel. But, I mean, I wasn't too impressed with the film. And then the fact that the trailers that came out before the film also gave away just way too much. I mean, some of my friends even predicted pretty much like the exact plot of the film just from the trailer. So you could tell they just gave away too much, like with the trailer that had Doomsday in it. And then finally, when the better trailer came out, we all were wondering, couldn't they have like put that one out instead? I mean, at that point, they pretty much ruined the whole movie for me. I'm sitting there thinking, oh, great. So someone has to make Doomsday. Someone has to drive the whole plot. It's not going to be Batman and Superman necessarily. And then, of course, since there's Doomsday in the film, Superman has to die. Superman dies in the end, and the dirt rises from his casket. So we all know he's coming back. That's not really as much of a letdown. In fact, if anything, that kind of gave me hope because, hey, they're going to probably come back and do another movie after this at least. And I'm hoping that they do better in the second one because this first one wasn't exactly too impressive. All in all, I mean, I did like some of the cameos from the other superheroes, though. I mean, I thought that was pretty interesting, and also the dream sequence. I'm not going to really say more about that dream sequence because I want people to go and see it for themselves if they haven't already seen it. And also, I know that there's going to be like a ton of different interpretations for that dream sequence, so I'll just leave that up to the theorists on the interwebs. Besides that, all in all, in order for me to actually enjoy the film as a popcorn flick like it really was, I mean, it was an action flick, I had to pretty much forget about all the trailers, like put that out of mind, and then from there pretend that I was seeing Transformers. Because the plot to me seemed almost as weak as Transformers. The heroes weren't driving the plot, it was the villain driving the plot, and then on top of that, in the end, the villain looks just plain insane, and he's making references to things that most people outside of the DC universe wouldn't know about. He's like, he's coming, and after it's like, what do you mean? Who is coming? And after that, you have to know, oh, it might be referring to one of the big villains in the DC universe, like Darkseid, and, you know, it's something that I think they could have done better, all in all. I mean, I liked it a little bit, but it was a little bit too grungy on both sides. It seemed more like Batman v. Batman with more powers. Only Batman doesn't know he's being played, and I couldn't enjoy it. Overall, though, the costumes were pretty nice for Man of Steel. Besides that, Ben Affleck's costume looked like friggin' duct tape. If you ask me, I think I like the Dark Knight costume better. And I think they could have made a better costume for Batman. Besides that, yeah, Batman gets stabbed in the shoulder, and Batman saves Superman's mom. So, yeah. And he also beats up a lot of thugs. So, I mean, the Batman fighting sequences versus Batman versus people are just amazing. Those are really nice. Okay. And then there's the part about Doomsday. The Doomsday fight scene was this is going to be a humongous letdown. It was like a friggin' video game fight scene where the enemy just keeps on letting off these annoying projectiles. It was literally like that. I don't really know how to compliment it because I can't, because the villain was really cheap. It's like he was going through these pretty much... I'm just going to go on and flat out call it Dragon Ball Z right now. He kept on doing this stupid Dragon Ball Z type thing where he was leveling up, powering up, and after he released like this huge energy burst, EMP, crappy thing, whatever, and it would just wipe out a wider and wider radius of stuff, buildings around him and everything. And it's like, seriously? Is that all he's going to do? Just explode with energy? I mean, it's kind of a cheap one-trick pony. It's like, you could do that once, but after a while it gets old to see him do it over and over again. And I mean, like, they had to kill it off at some point. So thank goodness they stuck a kryptonite spear through him. Hint, hint, Batman made that. But, yeah. The Doomsday villain was not, I repeat, was not that impressive. And if I do say so myself, wasn't Doomsday one of those villains? Yeah, he was one of those DC villains who actually had multiple different origin stories. I think I liked the original origin story better, where he was an adaptive being that would come back from his death. So with the way that they did this one, I don't know if Doomsday could ever come back. They're just killing off characters left and right. It's a grungy movie, and to be honest, I wasn't really too much of a fan of it. It seemed like this review, hashed up and put together. And to be honest, I mean, that's why this review is kind of hashed up and put together, because I'm looking for the diamonds in the rough in this point. Haha, Disney reference, Marvel. But, yeah. So, I hope that Zack Snyder gets to work. You know what? No, I hope that Ben Affleck directs the next movie, because I think he could do better. Besides that, I'm not going to slam on Zack Snyder. I think he did okay with Man of Steel. I think he did a wrong approach on the Dawn of Justice, though. And I'm willing to say I probably think more highly of this movie than most people from the Marvel cinematic side of things, because if you look at most Marvel fans, they're going to say, oh, this movie is flat out sucked. I mean, they're going to look at what? They're going to look at Rotten Tomatoes. And I'm going to show it right now to show you what I mean by Rotten Tomatoes hates this movie. Rotten Tomatoes, Batman v Superman. You're going to hate me if you're a DC. Oh, you can see it right here on Google. Look at this. The rating. 28%. Last time I was looking at this darn thing, it was 33%. It has dropped tremendously. And I'm sorry to say, the viewers don't lie. The critics are hating this, and the average rating's a 4.9 out of 10. I mean, 69% of the audience liked it. In college, that's what we call a failing grade. So, yeah. Ow. I guess it's a beginning to the DC Extended Universe. And on top of that, they also, I mean, they did a movie for Superman, but they didn't do a movie for Batman or Wonder Woman. And you know what? I know what most of you are going to say. They don't need to do a movie for Batman because they already did The Dark Knight. So I'll give you that. They don't need to do a movie for Batman. They need to do a movie for Wonder Woman. And I'm hoping that they do it in the future, because, to be honest, I don't think that Wonder Woman got exactly a proper introduction in this time around. I mean, with the way that they introduced her, you don't really know much about her, and it just leaves a lot of open questions, a lot of open holes in the plot, and you're wondering, where did she come from? And you see these pictures like later in the movie where they're like introducing her like, oh, someone's been watching you or something like that. It's like, where exactly did she come from, and how is she there, or why is she there, or why is she watching over The Dark Knight and The Man of Steel? Why is she watching over them of all things? I mean, part of that might be answered in the film, but they don't exactly give the full reason. You don't really know how they quite met up, besides, oh, there's controversy over these two people in their cities. So besides that, the only reason why they met up is because, hey, there's controversy over how these people are doing what they do in their cities to save people. And yeah, Superman leveled Metropolis. It's a little bit bland and vague in my opinion, but I guess it works. I mean, I hate to say it, but Wonder Woman was the only non-gloomy character in this film, which is, I mean, I guess it's good, but yeah, gloomy versus gloomy Batarang. Yeah, and a lot of people have been calling it Batman v Superman: Yawn of Justice. That's rude. But believe me, I'm not going to go that far. I still liked it as a popcorn flick. And I have to say, I like it better than Transformers, because at least this thing has a plot, even though the plot's weak sauce. I mean, I'll give them that. It has a plot. But they could have done a few things better. And things are rushed, in my opinion. And, ow. It's questionable. I think that Zack Snyder could have taken a better approach, as I said before. So I'm not really going to say much more about that. And to be honest, if you really want to know why I think that Batman should have been able to stand a better chance, Film Theory already did a video on the scientists behind all this stuff. I mean, seriously, Superman's nerfed in this DC universe if you compare him to his comic book counterpart. So, I mean, there's really no doubt. If you really wanted to go off of Dark Knight Returns to the fullest, yeah, Batman stands a chance. But I'm not even going to argue that, because, to be honest, it's just a movie. I would give it a 6 or 7 out of 10, and that's just me. That's just me being generous, because I felt as though it was kind of like Age of Ultron, where it could have been like too much at a given point of time, or not done right, because they nerfed Ultron a whole bunch in Age of Ultron. Well, they nerfed Superman in this, so that, if anything, should have worked in Batman's favor, but it didn't. So once again, things not quite done right, if you know what I mean. But I'm not really going to complain much because, as I said before, decent popcorn flick. And to be honest, hey, I favor Marvel, but I'll give DC props where props are due. Nice start to the DC universe. Now time to pick up the pieces. And let's just hope they do it better the next time. Because if they don't, Dawn of Justice is going to become Sunset of Yawning. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I hope you guys will go to see Dawn of Justice for yourselves to see what I'm talking about. And for any of you who kept on watching past the spoilers, even though I warned you not to, you've just been spoiled like a rotten tomato. Now anyway, go watch that movie, and if you have, leave a comment, leave a like, and even subscribe if you like to. And I'll be doing another Minecraft video sometime later this week. So I hope you'll find that interesting. And besides that, if you want me to do any more movie reviews, just say so in the comments. Keep it cool, and I hope you have a cool, awesome, amazing, super duper, fantastic, epically destructive week. Adios, guys.